third question is, what are my chances of success before the Discharge Review Board or the Board of Corrections for Military Records? What are my chances of winning and getting relief from those boards? So there's a couple things to think about that. Of course, every case is different, but there are certain factors that help. So the board's going to be looking at what they call propriety, which is legal error. They're going to be looking at equity, which is fundamental notions of fairness and justice. They can also look at clemency, which means you could receive an upgrade potentially based on your rehabilitation, demonstrated rehabilitation and community service after you've gotten out of the military. So there are ways to do this. Now, generally speaking, there are factors that increase your chances of winning. One of those is your records. What records do you have? How can we build a case? What evidence can we present to the board to overcome their standard and prove that the military got this wrong? The other thing to keep in mind when it comes to your case is the better presentation you make to the board. In other words, the better personal statement you have written, the better legal memo you have that outlines the legal errors that occurred and put it in the language that the board speaks, those things increase your chances. So I will tell you, the bad news in these cases is that overall, the majority of cases are denied. In other words, whether you hire an attorney or not, your chances of winning are typically well under 50% statistically. That's the big picture statistic. Again, there are things we can do to increase your chances of being successful, but it's important that you know that going into this process, because you have to evaluate what you're going to invest in doing this right. And again, there are many other factors we'll be happy to go over with you that could increase your chances of victory. We are seeing a promising trend when it comes to overall relief for discharge upgrades and Board of Corrections cases. Generally speaking, over the last few years, there's been a positive trend line with more cases getting relief. So anyway, if you have questions about this process, please feel free to reach out to us. Caleb or I will be happy to speak with you, give you some options, and talk about what it would look like to have us represent you before the Discharge Review Board or the Board of Corrections for Military Records. Thanks for watching. Please follow us online and take care.